Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday, February 17th. A cold morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Temperatures way down in the teens. More accumulating snow is headed to the I-95 corridor from D.C. to Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City late tonight and tomorrow morning. It is possible that that snow changes briefly to sleet and or freezing rain before ending on Tuesday. Expect another 1 to 3 inches of snow up and down the I-95 corridor from this system that will move across the Great Lakes region and stay to our north later on tonight and into the day on Tuesday. Milder weather will move in Tuesday afternoon, especially on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And it's very interesting. This has been a cold and snowy winter in the Mid-Atlantic region, yet we have had some breaks with milder conditions for 2, 3, 4 days at a stretch. Oftentimes this winter, that change to milder weather has been preceded by snow, and even on the back end of the mild weather, there has been some snow. For example, the day after Super Bowl Sunday, which was a very mild day, featured a snowstorm in the Mid-Atlantic region. Milder weather is coming again for the second half of this week, but once again, this winter it will be preceded by accumulating snow. Well, I wanted to look ahead here. This is the 7 to 10 day 500 millibar height anomaly forecast from last night's European model run, and by no means is this change to milder weather this week the end of winter. This is a very cold looking pattern setting up for later next week. We just wanted to point this out up front that indeed we have a big warm up coming Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week, but for the middle and latter part of next week we have deep trough once again showing up here on the European 500 millibar height anomaly forecast map here in the eastern part of the U.S. Strong ridging occurring here along the west coast, and we've seen this picture many times this winter. This kind of a pattern drives Arctic air masses right into the center part of the nation, and then they spread out to the east and to the south. So by no means is this break to milder weather for the second half of this week, the end of winter. Longer range looks like much colder air moves back into the eastern part of the U.S. perhaps by the end of the month, sometime next week. Well, let's start off with a radar map, a loop from the Penn State Ewald site of the north central part of the country, because that is where the precipitation is coming for the Mid-Atlantic region. It's coming from the Great Lakes region, and this is all in the form of snow here, the whites and blues from Minnesota into Wisconsin, all in the form of snow. The pinks represent kind of a mixed bag here. This will be one of the best snowfalls in a while in places like Madison, Wisconsin, Chicago, Illinois, where up to 5 or 6 inches of snow can fall over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. Again, this fast-moving system will cross the Great Lakes and spread snow into the Mid-Atlantic region later on tonight. Well, let's take a look on the forecast maps from last night's 0Z NAM model run. First, we'll look at the 500 millibar forecast map, and that's what this is for this evening, about 7 p.m. this evening. Again, a very strong upper-level trough, only this time it is way up north. The last couple of storms, including the big one last week, this upper-level trough was way down here in the southeastern part of the country. This one is healthy looking, strong upper level feature and a negative tilt to it, but it's farther north across the Great Lakes, and again this will produce quite a significant snowfall in the western part of the Great Lakes. Madison to Chicago could get 5-6 inches of snow. This will force a storm to travel from west to east, basically just to the north of the I-95 corridor of D.C. and Philadelphia, but it'll be close enough to cause accumulating snow on the order of 1 to 3 inches later on tonight into the early part of Tuesday. Well, let's take a look at the forecast maps at the surface from last night's 0Z NAM model run. We'll look at 6-hour increments beginning with early this evening, about 7 p.m. Still dry here, dominated by cold high pressure in the northeastern part of the country, way below normal temperatures for today here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Normal high temperatures right around, in Philadelphia, right around 43, 44 degrees, and we'll be lucky to crack the freezing mark this afternoon. High temperatures only reaching the low 30s in most locations along the I-95 corridor. Snow throughout the western part of the Great Lakes. Here's the low pressure center right in this region right here, moving to the east, And again, dry throughout the evening rush hour. No problems at all with the evening rush hour. Let's now jump ahead 6 hours. And here's the forecast map for just around midnight or shortly after midnight, and the precipitation just about moving into the Washington, D.C. area at or just before midnight. It was likely to be the beginning of the snow in the D.C. metro region just after midnight in Philadelphia, and then late tonight, closer towards the daybreak hours in the New York City region. The center of the low at this time across lower part of Michigan, headed towards the Lake Erie section, and again, significant snowfall in that part of the country with up to half a foot of snow in many areas. For example, in northern Illinois and southern part of Wisconsin. Let's jump ahead 6 hours. Here's the forecast map for early tomorrow morning, right around rush hour here in D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City. A pretty good stripe of snow in this area. Again, 1 to 3 inches expected, and it certainly can change to a brief period of sleet and or freezing rain towards morning into the early hours on Tuesday. So expect some accumulating snow, possibly topped by a little bit of a layer of ice. And again, slick driving conditions up and down the I-95 corridor for the Tuesday morning rush hour. Finally, here's the midday forecast map from last night's 0Z NAM model run. The precipitation just about pulling out of the New York, Philadelphia metropolitan regions here. Again, we'll have the primary timetable for the snow is late tonight and tomorrow morning on the order of 1 to 3 inches, just in time for slick driving conditions in the morning on Tuesday. But the afternoon should see some possible clearing late in the day and certainly milder conditions with 40 degrees likely in all of these I-95 corridor locations. And again, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday look to be much milder, noticeably milder, perhaps up to 60 degrees late in the week in D.C., and certainly 50 degrees is possible in Philadelphia the latter part of the week. But longer term, much colder air will return to the Mid-Atlantic region by the end of the month. So another accumulating snowfall coming late tonight and tomorrow morning. That's it for now. Stay tuned to the SIweather.com for updates later on today. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.